Hey everybody, off the Mike Sports Network here. Another edition of Off the Top Rope. I'm going to get to AEW Dynamite, and or actually Summer Blockbuster, whatever the fuck it was called. As I'm recording this is still going on. It is still going on. They're doing the same retread of the same match they did in the Collision block. So I'm not going to watch that. Like maybe I'll tell you guys the results later, but I want to get to this before I dive into a lot of the Dynamite topics and some of the stuff that came out of what was an interesting first 2 hours. And then, the rest of it was sort of there. But I want to tackle a WWE topic. It really kind of is more of a WWE adjacent topic because, as you guys know, I try to steer clear of politics on this channel in general. I just don't think it does any good. It's very divisive. It creates a lot of conflict. Um, and I understand that some of that with wrestling creates like I've talked about tribalism here. But one thing I'm not going to have is I'm not going to have tribalism and politics and wrestling bleed into the same thing. And that's what happened. There was an event, I believe I think it was Wednesday. If not, it was the other day, where it was a military event celebrating the military, where the president of the United States, Donald Trump, was present. And also present at this event was Cody Rhodes, Montez Ford, and Angelo Dawkins, the Street Profits, the tag team champions, and Tiffany Stratton, the WWE Women's Champion. And based off the way that you look at the internet, there are so many people, a lot of them just AEW cultists who are sickos who are trying to use this as they're a MAGA company. We're not a MAGA company. And how dare Cody Rhodes be the WWE champion and support Donald Trump? First of all, in no way, shape, or form did Cody Rhodes ever say, I'm MAGA, I support Donald Trump, or was it a Donald Trump affiliated event where Cody Rhodes was invited up on stage and celebrated by Donald Trump? That's a completely different issue. We had this happen a couple of weeks ago in Pittsburgh where Mason Rudolph, the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, got brought up on stage. I think it was Miles Killebrew, a safety for the Steelers, got brought up on the stage. That's different. You can get outraged over that because of their association, because they are blatantly and deliberately supporting the president. And if you do not, and if you are not a MAGA person, that's fine. I will be the first to tell you, I am as far away from MAGA as you can possibly get. I do not support Donald Trump and his movement and anything that he stands for. Okay. That being said, he is the president of the United States. And what Donald Trump was there for was an official government celebration and event to celebrate our military, which is a good cause. Okay. Whether Donald Trump wanted to make that about himself is a completely separate issue. So for people to cast off and basically make this about, oh, Cody Rhodes showed up there, so he's automatically MAGA. We did this with Roman Reigns around WrestleMania, where he said he was like a centrist and he supported the office of the president. And everybody took that way out of context and said, oh man, he's MAGA. Oh man, he's bad. WWE is a MAGA company. Yes, I understand that that WWE has brought in Tony Hinchcliffe, who is not a great individual, has supported Donald Trump. That's different than this. These were WWE superstars going there to support the military. And if there's one thing that you guys know, especially if you are a wrestling fan, because at some point before you were an AEW fan, you watched WWE. WWE has had a long-standing relationship with the military. This goes back to tribute to the troops. Remember what JBL brought in and started them going overseas to the troops, and then they had that annual show that they've now stopped doing? They celebrate the military. This was for a good cause. So why does this have to be a wrestling conversation? And automatically, because you AEW fans want to find something wrong about Cody Rhodes because he left your company after starting it and now is in a much better position than he was before, and you've got to make this about politics because you don't like Donald Trump. I don't like Donald Trump either. Regardless of that, he is still the president of the United States, okay? And that office means something. And the reality of this situation, if you guys want to go down this rabbit hole, this is exactly what Donald Trump wants you to do. He wants you to be divisive over this. He wants you to tear down all of your heroes and make you believe this and, have this be this certain conversation. So that way, everybody's questioning everybody. This is how we've gotten to the point that we are at. So this is exactly what he wants. So I'm here to tell you guys, it's just annoying to me to have this same conversation, and I had to have it with multiple people on the internet. Again, I will say this, I am not MAGA. So for any of you people who are trying to agree with me saying, "Yeah, he's totally MAGA. Yeah, I don't even know any of the taglines that they do or whatever." Guys, you probably are based off what I am saying, you know who I voted for, okay? I'm not gonna say it out loud because then this is just gonna turn completely sideways. But to act like what happened on Wednesday for a military event, Montez Ford is a fucking military vet. You're gonna get mad at him? You're gonna get mad at him? Until they outwardly say, go Trump or, whatever, or say their political beliefs, which they are obligated to do, they don't make it political. But just because they showed up at a government event to celebrate our military and celebrate our troops, which is totally a justified decision and totally justified, it might have been a WWE call. That does not make this a MAGA conversation or anything related to that. That's exactly what has screwed up this country in the first place. And I don't like it bleeding into things that I really genuinely love and care about. Because wrestling should be inherently fun. That's what it should be. It's supposed to be, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, however long you're watching it. You're supposed to have fun and dismiss belief from the real world. You can bleed into reality and have these storylines that, question, hey, is it real? Is it not real? Is it a work? Is it a shoot? But that's the entertainment of it, and that's the joy that you get from watching professional wrestling. This is not that, okay? This is just trying to find something to get mad about, having faux outrage, and trying to bring a tribal debate between two companies that shouldn't even be about that. Worry about making your product better. And the reason why I get critical on this channel and people give me shit is because I have an opinion and you don't like it. Okay? This is a separate thing. This is basically having an event and trying to make it about wrestling when it clearly has nothing to do with that. Other than the fact that WWE affiliated people showed up as representatives for WWE at an event involving the president of the United States that you do not like. I don't like him either. That doesn't mean I have to disagree with what Cody Rhodes, Tiffany Stratton, or the Street Profits do by just showing up there. That doesn't mean anything. And some people were getting at me in my comments saying, "Man, you want to be as far away from Trump as you possibly can." Why? Because he's the president, or why? Because he doesn't have the beliefs that we are, guys. If we don't believe in the office of the presidency, we're never going to get back to where we are. It sucks, like, being in America and having him as the president. And if you disagree with me on that, that's your prerogative. But I will always support the office of the presidency. And whether I agree with him or not, that office means something. If he wants to make it about himself, that's his entire thing. But this was about the military. This was not about Donald Trump. That's why those people were there. This isn't about wrestling. Please, for the love of God, stop doing this. I am begging you all, because it's just going to make everything about this discussion, WWE and AEW, just inherently not fun. Because I do not like having to make videos like this. But please, for the love of God, stop this, okay? I'm begging y'all, okay? Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.